Oh, poor Jenna.
Gosh, she's dying. She's almost through it though.
Yeah. All right, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, whenever she's done. On this week's SOD, Phil Spencer admits that he's an idiot. Concord players commit mass suicide, and Ubisoft's stock is in the toilet. Peterson reviews Core Keeper, takes a mulligan on Star Wars Outlaws, and I'm not sick anymore. You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And I made it through.
You made it through the sickness. You're done.
Dude, whatever the hell that was.
Now it's just Jenna. Every now and then I
Jenna's
hear her
working
cough
through
in the
tail end of it.
background. Yeah.
She's just like 1 week behind. So I can just tell her every day, well, this is what you're going to be dealing with.
This time next week, you're going to be feeling great.
Yeah. What I got to tell her today, because I went for the first run I've gone on in 2 weeks. And it felt like the first run in 2 years. Honest to God. It was like my legs were made of concrete and my lungs were the quarter of the size they normally are. And so I got to tell Jenna when I got back, I said, well, you're going to hate when you go back to jiu-jitsu. You're going to
She's going to die. She's
going to fucking die, dude.
That's how I feel every week when I go play soccer. Every Tuesday night, I'm like, dude, I'm doing this for over a year now. And I still am just every time like, why am I so tired still? I should be used to this. But I'm too old for that. I'm not used to any of it. So every week is the most tired I've ever been. So it just gets worse, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there you go.
How about this week? Is this week the most tired you've ever been?
It will be. Well, tomorrow when I do it.
Wow, that's messed up.
That's messed up.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies. Go to cravecookies.com. You can check out the menu. You can check out the location, see if there's a Crave Cookies near you. They rotate their menu every week on Friday, and we tell you 3 days early what it's going to be. Ugh, you're so lucky. And I'm so stoked for this week's. Guess what we got coming back? Fucking Twix. My number one favorite cookie. The shortbread with caramel inside and chocolate on top. The Twix is back.
Solid.
The Biscoff brownie. The cannoli. Yeah.
Is that new? What?
No, we had that before. It's basically just like a regular chocolate chip cookie, but then you've got the cannoli filling inside, which is like the sour cream kind of thing. And so it's got like a divot inside with this like little cannoli cream.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. It's just like a cannoli. And then the red velvet XXX is the cold cookie. So I don't know, red velvet sex cookie.
Dude,
is it a red velvet better than sex? I don't know. It's red. It's chocolatey. It'll tongue fuck your mouth hole. I don't know.
You can't say that in the Crave Cookie section.
I'm trying out new slogans. I'm trying out.
Now I'm gonna have to clip that. Now I'm gonna have to clip that and send it to Trent.
He's gonna love the new the new slogan for for Crave Cookies OnlyFans account. Tango Gameworks' founder thought his studio, quote, would be safe as long as they continued to make Hi-Fi Rush games, but Microsoft shut it down anyway.
Nope. Nobody's safe.
This was the guy that made Resident Evil, Dino Crisis. Like, he's kind of a storied creator, and he founded Tango Gameworks, the guys that did Hi-Fi Rush. Shinji Mikami, he was talking in IGN in an interview, and he was talking about in response to the Tango Gameworks closure, which was back in May, and we reported on it then. that Microsoft shut down the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, and we were like, why? And it turned out that they were working on a lot more games, or they were planning to do more Hi-Fi Rush games, a popular series that's well received and does a lot of numbers. Wasn't enough. And even this dude who left the studio with this belief in his mind, which is partially why he left. He felt confident that he was leaving his, past coworkers in a good spot. He said in this interview with IGN, I had thought the studio would be safe as long as they continued to make Hi-Fi Rush games. That's one of the reasons I left Tango Gameworks. So I was surprised when the studio was closed down. Even this guy who you assume would have a little bit better insight into like Microsoft's feelings about the studio and stuff, he was like, yeah, no, this is good. And they've got a good plan. They've got a good strategy and a good IP. He thought he could just leave it. But dude, that's not enough. And imagine being those dudes after watching Phil Spencer and his gang fight tooth and nail and like spend $70 billion.
Didn't they work on this acquisition for easily over a year? It was like a year and a half.
And then the games that start coming out of all their acquisitions, that one and Bethesda as well, are just dumpster fire after dumpster. It's fucking Starfields. And they are looking there and they're like, we're working on another Hi-Fi Rush. They're like, yeah, you're gone. Oh, you're making like a successful game and in a successful IP that people want more entries in. Yeah, you're gone. It just makes no sense. It makes so little sense. And everything is so reactive. I just feel so bad for literally any studio that's under Microsoft at this point. Like I would see this as one of those studios that they own, which is many. And this would make me so fucking freaked out.
That one was probably the most surprising out of all of them because, like you said, they did have a successful game, and honestly, it was one that I don't think would take 5 to 8 years to replicate and to make another one, right? Because it wasn't like realistic graphics. And if they used the same engine and assets, they could do pretty good. The thing, okay, this whole story is kind of sad for me, like the overtones and the undertones, because first off, like just that studio getting shut down is sad, but also they're like, yeah, as long as we keep making Hi-Fi Rush games. And Hi-Fi Rush, I played it and it was a really great game. It was awesome. It didn't feel like they should make more Hi-Fi Rush games. But it felt like the studio was like, we did Hi-Fi Rush, we were successful. We got to save ourselves. Let's just do another Hi-Fi Rush, right?
Yeah.
Whereas it felt like a new concept type of thing that they were trying, and it worked. So like I felt like they shouldn't make another Hi-Fi Rush. I felt like they should do something else. And seems like they were like, yeah, we're gonna do another Hi-Fi Rush just so we don't get canned, and then they get canned anyway. The whole thing, like, there's no positives in this.
No,
at all. Yeah.
And it's just like, and it all just reflects really poorly on Microsoft's management of their various studios. It doesn't really matter the size. Now, the one good piece of news coming out of this that we didn't report on is that these guys did get picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Their IP and their studio was acquired by the South Korean publisher Krafton. They do like every game that comes out of South Korea, basically. And they gobbled up Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi, and they rehired like 50 people. I don't know how many people like ended up initially canned, but 50 is not bad, I guess.
For a game like that seems like the right number, if I'm being honest. Like,
seems like you don't need more.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that's where we're at on that. And my condolences to any studio that's under Microsoft right now. Sorry, guys.
And no, it's when like in the movies when like the new bad guy takes over a big boss and he's like, I got to execute somebody just to like make an example. That's what happened to Tango.
So
they're like, you guys are good, but guess what? You're gone.
This is Gus Fring killing that guy with a box cutter.
Yeah. We're like,
to be like, stay on your toes. Stay on your fucking toes. We're Microsoft.
Nobody's safe.
Yeah,
nobody's safe.
Anyone. After possibly the worst gaming launch of all time, Sony is taking Concord offline and refunding everybody who bought it.
Dude,
every
trying to get a
platform.
Blursty.
Steam, Epic Games. Yeah, dude, this may be, and we've been covering worst launch is one of our original Blursty categories, and we've had some really banger nominations over the years. I believe when we awarded one to North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un
for a failed rocket launch.
Yeah, like
awesome.
We've been international. It's been a big deal. And yet this launch, I think, may be the worst one we've ever seen.
This might be we've had a couple like Amazons when they released a game and immediately shut it down. But this one's even worse than that because they've worked on it for so long.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it just failed spectacularly.
Right out the gate.
Never was good.
This comes from a blog post on the Sony PlayStation blog. I'll just read a few quotes I thought were funny. Quote, "Your support and passionate community has grown around the game, has meant the world to us."
No, but there's been no.
I feel like this was a very personal message for like 27 people
that work there.
They like saw this and they're like, yeah, I was part of the community of like 15 people that I all knew. Quote, "However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, 27 of them, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended." Would love to know the way they intended. Like they intended it to land 4 years ago. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024 and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. Again, you don't have players. You could say new players.
Better reach anybody. Patrick makes a good point. Patrick, and he said, well, it's a terrible launch. It's bad that I don't see it. Is it bad that I don't see it as the worst launch? Everybody but Sony is happy, that is a point to be made. Like the gamers do win in this one. Like if you bought the game, you get your money back. So that's like true. A win. But it is for Sony. This is a terrible launch. Honestly, the terrible launch started 8 years ago. This never should have even been greenlit.
I think my favorite part is the end of this press release where they say, "We'll keep you updated and thank you again to all the free gunners who have joined us in the Concord Galaxy." Does anyone know what that means? There's lore. Concord had lore.
They
dropped these little lore nuggets. And it's like, dude, no one knows what you're fucking talking about. No one read the little like lore Bible you guys released. No one
there's
saw
like
that.
3 or 4 people that got
What's
in there.
What's a free gunner?
Like, I'm a
what
free gunner.
What is a fucking free gunner? What the fuck does that mean?
You just run around free gunning.
I just been free gunning, dude.
I don't like free gunner.
Nah, you either have a holster or you're a free gunner. Hey, you gonna put that gun away? We're going into Subway. Nah, I'm a free gunner.
I'm free gunning it tonight. Forgot my holster at home. I forgot my extra holster at the gym.
I'm kind of a free gunner.
'Cause I'm free.
Free gunning.
You got it.
Black Myth Wukong has already made $850 million on Steam alone, with an average of playtime of 27 hours. Yeah. This is data coming from VG Insights. Again, this is only for Steam, although I did look it up, and apparently there is Steam in China, and I think that's primarily how PC players in China are getting this game.
Probably.
Is through Steam. It's a very limited library. I mean, from what I saw, it's hard for me to tell because I don't read Mandarin. But these insights found that so keep that in mind because 80% of all the sales of this that I'm talking about came out of China. So do keep that in mind. But they've sold 17.8 million units and they've made $852.4 million in gross revenue since the game launched on the 20th of August. So 19 days. Is that what we're looking at here? That is incredible. I can't think of bigger numbers of a game release recently. Can you?
No, this year has been interesting because it's been like big game comes out, makes a ton of money, kind of disappears. Big game comes out, makes a ton of money, and like everyone else trying to match that. But we've been pretty steady this year. We thought this year was going to be like real slow and kind of lame, but we've had like a lot of surprise hits. When this game was announced, like of course I saw it, but I was like, yeah, wasn't that excited for it or didn't even think that it would be much. But honestly, by all reports, this seems like a great game.
Yeah.
And I love it. This is what we want. And again, I think this is a I think I might be wrong. I think this is like a single player Souls
It
like
is.
game. This isn't
Yeah.
a games as a service
No.
type of game. And again, the market is showing the bosses what they don't want to see, that you can make a smash hit and make $1 billion.
Just make a good fucking game.
And they're like,
hand you $1 billion.
They're like, oh, I'm telling you, all the bots are like, nope, cover their eyes. I can't see it. La 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 la. You know what I mean? Like, listen, look what people want.
No, I want Fortnite. I only want Fortnite.
It's
just
crazy.
Fortnite, please.
Because we've had what, a few of these already. We had the Pokemon one. What was that?
Pal World.
Pal World made a ton of money. Then we had Helldivers.
All we've had is good examples of how to do these things right.
How to make a good game. And like these people are like, no, we got to make freaking Concord. And you're like, this isn't it. This isn't it. And like, we could have told you that. Everyone did tell you that. Just make a good game. Quit copying. Anyways, I'm happy for this game. I'm really happy for this game. I'm happy for Souls-like lovers because this is a Souls-like type of game.
Well, dude, if China starts producing solid single-player story games and make it over here versus just like cynical multiplayer ripoffs of current multiplayer games we have, like Honor of Kings, that could be really fucking cool, especially if they're exporting cultural stuff like Wukong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here for it. I think that'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, I honestly, genuinely don't care who makes it. Just give me good games. Give me.
Well, I'm not sure I want Saudis making my games, but
that's too late.
General,
they got their fingies and everything.
That's true. They're making all our games.
They own at least 2% of everything.
They do own a portion of this podcast.
Just like 2%. It's fine.
It's just like 2% of everything. Just
they were shooting for 50%, but we were like, that seems like a lot, and we don't.
We're like, are you sure you have $50 just lying around?
They're like, also, you have to do half the podcast in Arabic, and I was like, I don't have the time to learn.
I can't.
Best I can give you is
cold.
Mexican slang. That's the best I've got.
You don't want it.
They're like,
you don't want it.
Yeah, that's the best I can offer.
Phil Spencer says what we're all thinking, finally admitting I've made some of the worst game choice decisions.
Oh, you have?
Phil. This was an interview called Story Time with Phil Spencer at PAX West. This is where he's just kind of going through, I guess, his career and waxing poetic about his past failures, I suppose. He talks in this interview about how he didn't, quote, get Destiny when it first came out. Weird.
Passed on it.
It's pretty straightforward. And he didn't think Guitar Hero would work, which, in fairness, none of us did.
Honestly, I would not have guessed that it was
no, as that one's not on Phil. Nobody thought fucking Guitar Hero would work. While we were in the middle of the Guitar Hero fever, we're like, this shouldn't work. Like, why is this working?
You're sitting there like thinking, you're sitting on the couch like, why are people playing Guitar Hero? And then someone's like, hey, and then they end and you're like, okay, it's my turn. They hand you the guitar and you just start shredding.
Yeah.
You get up there like you're a rock star.
You play the same Killers song on Expert 50 times in a row on a Friday night, and you're like, what am I doing with my life? And then you cue it up again because you're like,
this is freaking awesome. I love it.
This is great. He says, Phil Spencer goes on to say, I'm not a regrets type person. Maybe that's a fault of mine. Yes.
That
is a character fault.
Be a regret person.
Don't just say that. But I passed on so many games. I could look back and say, ugh, But no, I try to look forward and be positive about the things that we're doing. Yes, dude. Never reflect back on your past behavior.
Don't
Just
look
keep
back.
going forward and be positive about the things you're actively doing, whether or not they're actively destructive to your company profits or goals. You're just looking forward. Don't ever look back, Phil Spencer. That's
Learn
where
not
all the
to
bad,
look back.
dark thoughts reside. Let's look forward into the sunny, bright new day of tomorrow, every day, forever.
Honestly, he should be removed, and they should bring someone else in.
Such a dumbass.
Like,
Isn't he a
genuinely,
shithead?
like, he's made enough horrible decisions and bad, just
But
like
he's not aware of those. He's not a regrets type person.
I
What is
just
that?
don't.
That's not a thing. That's not like, oh, I'm a regretter guy. Oh no, I'm not much of a regretter. I don't really identify as like a regretter guy.
Like, yeah, but you made so many mistakes,
What
and
the
like,
fuck?
I don't even
I'm
know what
more
you're
of
talking
like
about.
a perpetual fuck up kind of guy. You know, like I always make
Mistakes are in the past. How can you even? I don't even know what you're talking about. You sound so stupid right now.
You're only making mistakes if you like think about it.
It's
I don't
only-
think about it. It's so much better that way because then I can just keep making mistakes.
Every time we do a quarterly earnings call, I don't even pay attention to it. I don't even listen.
Dude,
I
I
just
seriously just play Candy Crush on my phone.
I
That's
put my
all I
headphones
fucking do.
in, listen to some Spice Girls, play some Candy Crush,
I
and
bought
like
Candy
that's it.
Crush. I spent $69 billion on fucking Candy Crush. I got that. Sony's CFO doesn't think they have enough original IP. Sony.
They've got a ton of original IPs, I feel like.
So this is Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki, who we love to say his
great
name. He was talking in an interview with Financial Times, which apparently is also within his purview of doing every other job at Sony. I think he has like 5 jobs, and he talks to FT. So he says, whether it's for games, films, or anime, we don't have that much IP that we fostered from the beginning. We're lacking the early phase of IP, and that's an issue for us. So he's talking about homegrown IP. Obviously not Spider-Man. That's not like Sony's thing that they built from the ground up. But my question is here, why does that fucking matter? Why does it matter if you're Stan Lee or not? You own Spider-Man. Why does that fucking matter?
Yeah, like you've got God of War, and like
IP is IP.
We don't care where that comes from. Yeah, just it doesn't have to come from you. Maybe he just feels like I failed because I'm in a creative environment and I'm not creative. I don't know.
Now, he's referring to all of Sony, not just PlayStation. He's talking TV, movies, all the things that are under Sony's like purview.
Everything. I feel like Sony
we don't have enough IP that we made up ourselves. What is that? Who fucking cares? How is that a thing? How is that a problem? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I don't
read the Financial Times, so this stuff just goes right over my fucking head. I read it in terms of for games, at least. He's like, well, we want to just make live service games, and that doesn't fit many of our IPs. They don't make sense as live service games. I don't know, though. I don't know. It's kind of a weird gripe.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he needs to review their library of of IPs that they have. Because
does that mean they're gonna hire some story writers or like
Sony's doing a new hire and they've got a great guy lined up for it. His name's Hiroki Totoki, and I think he's really qualified because he's already doing 6 jobs at Sony. So I think he might be just the guy for the job you're describing.
He posts a job. He's the hiring manager, applies for it. That's what he does.
He's his own referral.
He's like, honestly,
he's listed like 3 different times.
This job does sound kind of fun. Like,
sounds right up my alley.
You're gonna move into that position and be like, what do you mean move? I will just absorb this
every
position.
time his office gets a little bit bigger, and then it's just like a whole floor.
He just takes them in upon himself. He absorbs them, so they are now him.
He renames Sony Hiroki Totoki.
Hiroki Sasoni.
Nice.
I'm sorry to inform you. Welcome to another company reset. I hope you've updated your resume. 'Cause you've just been laid off.
Just the one. But we promised you early on in this year that these were just going to keep going. We're just going to keep rolling these out. This one could predicted this one pretty easily. Rocksteady has started laying off their QA department because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League sucked so hard. Like, we don't need QA. The thing's a fucking disaster. We're not fixing it.
Honestly, QA was the issue to begin with anyway. It was the stupid QA guys couldn't nail
QA
this.
made all the creative decisions and the overall decision to make it a live service hellhole of a game. Damn you, QA! You made us do this. The QA team,
they just laid off 90% of their player base. All their player numbers are from the workers testing it.
Brutal. QA team was 33 team members, and now they're down to 15. So yeah, like Peterson said, there will be a full percentage point drop in their overall player base because it was a result of this.
It was just guys that worked there.
But it wasn't just limited to QA. There were a handful of other layoffs already. One staff member was posting publicly on social media over the weekend, said that they were being made redundant. They were told in the middle of their paternity leave. Oof. So that's probably pretty fun. At a historically non-stressful point in your life. Fresh baby.
Yeah,
house.
just like good.
Everything's just chill.
Job.
I feel like they just sleep and don't do anything all day. It's just really nice, and
they're not even expensive, so you don't even need a job, really. So.
Yeah, they don't even poop that much. Several team members employed at Rocksteady for more than 5 years were also let go. So these are kind of, you got some lifers, you've got some people with some deep experience, which was also mentioned about the QA team, is that a lot of the institutional knowledge that was being lost was significant, and it's going to impact the remaining members on the team.
You know what's funny? I feel like with video game QA, I feel like you really, really would want like a handful, like a solid team of experienced QA testers who are like to know what they're going to look for. And that's not how the industry treats it. They're just treated like anybody can play a game and find a bug. And like, I feel like you're going to want at least give me like you got like an A squad of QA testers who are like, we got 50 guys who are just going to find everything.
Yeah.
But no, they just treat them like they're just the most expendable.
And having those guys like ready to go when you do start spinning up a new game versus having to hire them after your game is so fucking loaded with bugs. You're like, dang, we needed some QA. Having them cut those off early on and be aware of that. And it's a matter of also training the engineers in how they work to make it easier for QA to do their job, which in turn makes the engineers' jobs easier. But if you just treat them as this like ancillary, like side part of the business, engineering's going to just keep making whatever garbage shit code is causing all the bugs over and over again. They're not going to get corrected. They're just going to get like patched, band-aided. So yeah, you're right. This isn't some expendable department, but it is always the first. It is always the most expendable. They're like
every single time. Like I feel like every time we announce, they say we talk about layoffs, there's at least a QA team in there that just got cut, or if you never lose department.
You never lose a manager. You never see middle managers getting laid off because those are the guys that are making the decision to lay people off.
Nice.
Hi, welcome to Applebee's. What can I get started for you tonight?
Okay, I came in here for one thing, and one thing only. I want a basket of meat.
Oh, I have the perfect item for you. We just brought these back. They're called riblets. So what we do is instead of giving you a full rack of ribs, which you probably would enjoy, we give you a bunch of broken bits of bone covered in meat instead, and then doused in barbecue sauce. Can I get you started?
I'm going to need those triple barbecue sauce on my
Triple barbecue
riblets.
sauce. Yeah, that's usually how we do them.
I eat them with my hands. You dip your fingers in some
You get
barbecue
enough
sauce soup.
If you get enough barbecue sauce, it makes the bones soft enough that you can chew them.
Yeah,
I mean, these are not healthy cows. Their bones are not strong.
oh gosh, I don't like that.
These are soft-boned
Is
cows.
it-
It's not that dissimilar from soft-shell crab. This is how we have engineered the cows. They don't really walk very well. They just kind of lay there. But they do eat. Riblets
You can eat
are
it. You
little
can eat
meat
anything.
chunks of news. This is the news equivalent of everything we just said. You were following, right?
You got it.
Concord players are jumping off cliffs in game as they desperately grind for the platinum trophy before the game is shut down. This is fucking hysterical. So, platinum trophies in PlayStation are each game only has one, and it's typically the rarest, most difficult trophy to acquire. And so, people that like to show off their gamer score or their experience will have, their trophy shelf, and whoever has the most platinum in general, platinum trophies is someone that's really grinded out a lot of games, because you can get those lower ones pretty easy, but this is the platinum trophy this game offered. Concord, they had achievements, they had all that stuff, and their platinum trophy was based on their total experience in game. Now, currently, the best way to get experience is to play the main game mode, which is just like a big death match, kind of like objective based death match, just like Overwatch. And so even if you lose, you get the experience. Especially if you lose, do you get the experience? So did you watch this tweet? Did you watch the video and the tweet that was in the article? What happens at the start of every single match is that the players just make a absolute beeline for the nearest edge of the map, and they just jump off and die. And it's kind of funny because the video that I watched, they all jump off, but they win the match because the other team managed to jump off before them. It doesn't matter. Everyone's getting the same amount of experience. And the whole idea is just killing yourself quickly enough that it just so it
Oh my gosh, I
maximizes
just
the
watched.
time you have to just jump off. But dude, what's funny about this is because this game is shutting down, and I don't know where you fall on this. Do you think they are going to suffer this game to death, or do you think they're just going to cut their losses? Do you think that in 8 months they're going to be like, all right, this is Concord 2.0.
No.
It's free to play, and here's all the other stuff we've brought into the game. You think that they're going to cut their losses? So if that's the case, if they're going to cut their losses, this might end up being the rarest platinum trophy there is, because the game came out. It was achievable for a very brief amount of time with a lot of effort, because this is a shit ton of experience you need, especially doing it this way. That the people that actually get this trophy are going to be breathing extraordinarily rarefied air.
Dude, this is crazy. I watched the video and I timed it because the video has the beginning of the match. From the time the match starts to the time they win the round is 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Everybody just runs and
immediately. That's the whole queue. Imagine being some sucker whose grandma bought you a new video game. And you don't really know much about games. She doesn't know much about games. And you plug this game called
just want to play.
Because it was $40, so it's cheaper than all the other video games at the store that grandma was looking at. And you plug it in and you go to play a match, and this just you're like, is this broken? And you're looking, you're like, no, I'm pretty sure these are real players. And you just watch them and they just jump off and die, and you're just standing there.
Your team wins because you're the only one left.
And you're just looking around like a sap. Like, what is happening? That is Concord, or at least the last dying days of Concord. I think this is so funny.
Or you log into your first game and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna follow these guys.
And you're like, whoa,
maybe they know a shortcut. You just jump off the cliff and you're like, what?
Yeah.
This
is the game. This is the meta. This is the actual meta for Concord now. This is the in-game meta.
Amazing.
Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy sequel from Warner Brothers Games is, quote, one of the biggest priorities. According to Warner Brothers Discovery CFO, this is Gunnar Windenfels. Gunnar? I don't know. He's talking in an interview at the Bank of America's 2024 Media Communications and Entertainment Conference last week. Ugh, why is that a conference? Fuck you, Bank of America.
Bank of America. What? We don't. Why? Get out of this.
Get out of this. We don't want you. Quote, obviously a successor to Hogwarts Legacy is one of the biggest priorities in a couple of years down the road. So there is certainly a significant growth contribution from that games business in our strategic outlook there. Significant growth contribution? Bitch, I don't want to hear that anywhere near the words Hogwarts Legacy, because that just tells me you're going to try to pack as much money making. He also mentioned in this interview how many people they'd noticed are going back and replaying this game. The only reason you mention that at a conference like this is because you are filled with regret. Unlike Phil Spencer, you can feel regret. And you're like, man, why aren't we getting paid when those stupid sacks of money go back and play our game?
Going back and playing for free?
Make no money from that. We make no money when people buy a DVD and then watch it more than once. What the fuck is that all about? You could read a book twice? Horse shit. Not under my fucking watch.
This is on the surface, you might think, oh, dude, this is great news, right? They're really focusing on Hogwarts Legacy. That was a great game.
No,
I do feel like because it was so successful, that means now the highest levels of C-suite now are getting their dirty little fingers in this, and they're like going to be influencing this. And we know they do a terrible job at it. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they get these jobs, but they're horrible at this. And so Hogwarts Legacy 2 or whatever is going to come out, and it is going to be a completely different thing.
Yeah, it's going to be live action. It's going to be, they're going to try to make it an MMO. It's going to cost $20 a month.
Like when Knights of the Old Republic, they were like going to do Knights of the KOTOR 3, and they were like,
yep,
let's do the Old Republic instead and make it an MMO. And everyone was like, I just wanted KOTOR 3.
Why don't you just break our hearts even more? Ubisoft stock has tanked to a 10-year low after the lukewarm sales of Star Wars Outlaws.
Ubisoft is struggling a little bit lately.
Yeah, a little bit lately. Actually, I went and looked at their stock price, and I didn't realize they've been on like a 5-year-long skid. Essentially, we started this podcast. We talked about how great Ubisoft was. And then from that point forward, their stock has been on a steady downward slide. Like when we started the podcast, more or less, it was at its absolute zenith, which was like 93 euro. Wow, that's fucking weird. 93 euros. And it is currently at 13. 13!
Pooh-wee.
And it has not been like ups and downs. I mean, there was a pretty big dip in 2020. Like everyone went down, but then they came back up and then just went all the way back down. Dude, I think 13 euros is pretty bad. Then it hasn't been like 13 euros since like 2015, 2016. When it's bad. It's really bad. Like really, really fucking bad. And this isn't helping. It looks like it just takes little spikes when they have a decent year, when they're like, oh, new Far Cry. And next year, new Far Cry is coming out. They've got, they're talking about doing a new Splinter Cell game. So there's some stuff on the horizon, which I think will keep it, up. But overall, looking at the trend line of Ubi's stock price, I mean, that's got to freak you the fuck out. That's got to, and this one did poorly. And what sales they do make, fucking Mickey Mouse is going to take like half of that pie.
That's
for the Star Wars license. So they're not getting paid dick for this.
So here's the thing, like, this can't feel good for people who work at Ubisoft, but also I do have a good reference point personally for how they feel. Since the company I work for has just been steadily declining. So
isn't that nice?
Feels
What's happening to the American dream.
Feels
missing it.
Good. It feels good. If you don't know, I work for Boeing. It's not great lately. So
just feel bad always.
Kudos. Kudos.
Kudos is our positivity segment. After we've been sad and mad, we like to be
Glad.
You
Yeah.
got there.
Yep.
Do you have any kudos, or is it just me?
I don't think I have any kudos. I think it's just you.
That's okay. I've been watching a lot of television. When you're sick for 2 weeks, and then your wife is sick for 2
That's
weeks,
true.
on top of that, that's 3 weeks of TV. This has been one of this weirdest illness where, like, no matter how much you rest, you don't really get better. Whereas, like, I feel like people are like, "Oh, I've had this cold for 2 weeks." I'm like, "Yeah, have you been resting, or have you been just running around doing your job, taking care of your kids, doing all the crazy shit you normally do with a cold?" And they're like, that." I feel like having a cold for 2 weeks is one thing, because people just extend their colds because they can't afford to be sick. But I'm out of work right now. I have nothing to do but sit on my couch and rest. And I still took me 2 fucking weeks to get over this thing. Dude, it's beyond me. I was eating well, drinking a shit ton of fluids, taking a million showers, didn't do shit. I was talking to my sister today about it, and that's what she said. She's like, "Okay, well, I did all the things I'm supposed to, so I'm better now, right?" Like, what the fuck? No, just sick for fucking life. Anyway, so watched a ton of TV. Jenna's shows of choice for this sickness have been documentaries, docuseries. I don't know. I watched True Detective. That was kind of my thing. And she wanted to watch.
Did you just watch season 1 again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any desire to watch the other ones. I don't want them to taint.
It's fine.
The beauty of it.
That
you
don't
first
want to
season,
get to
dude.
the taint of it.
I don't want the taint.
Stay away from the taint.
I don't want the taint. Never
Season 1 is by far the best one, like leaps and bounds.
So good. I find new, you find new things every time you rewatch it. But 2 shows that Jenna found, absolutely fantastic. Just everyone's got to watch these. First one is Paul T. Goldman. Paul T. Goldman is on Peacock. And honestly, I'd recommend you research it as little as possible.
Okay.
This one is one you start watching and you're like, what the fuck? You're like, oh, okay. Wait, what the fuck? Whoa, wait, what? And then you do that every episode for like 3 or 4 episodes, and you're like, no fucking way. I would describe Paul T. Goldman to you thusly, because I don't want to spoil much. I just want you guys to just go watch it, and to trust me when I say just watch it. If you are familiar with The Office, if you watch The Office, imagine if Threat Level Midnight was a movie that was made. But Michael Scott from The Office believes like a good chunk of the film is real. That he's like in it and he's playing Michael Scarn and he thinks it's real. And then the guy that directed the Borat sequel just found him on Twitter and was like, yeah, I'll come direct this. That's Paul T. Goldman. It is absolutely fucking unhinged and insane. And the more I tell you about it, the more it'll ruin like the mind-blowingness of it.
Okay.
But I would seriously recommend checking out Paul T. Goldman. It is weird as fuck. I don't know. I think it's like 4 episodes. It's on Peacock. It's weird. Oh, it's weird.
All right.
And the other one, which I will tell you a lot about, is on HBO, and it's called Chimp Crazy. You may have seen it because HBO has been promoting it like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same guy that did Tiger King, and it's the same fucking setup, but with chimps. It's just like these crazy people, irresponsible idiots, owning chimps that they can't care for, and they don't know how to care for. But it's kind of odd because unlike with Tiger King, they're like way more despicable somehow. I don't know what it is. Like Tiger King, you're like, yeah, he was kind of a dirtbag and he was really abusing these animals and not really caring for them. But somehow the way they treat these chimps is worse. It's like less meth, more McDonald's, if that makes any sense.
Okay. It's just a different type of trash.
Yeah, it's like they are constantly feeding the monkeys Big Macs, and like the monkey's fingers. When he like says someone is like very, very overweight and their fingers have become like that's where they're storing the weight.
Yeah.
That's what these chimps, which already have huge, thick, muscular fingers,
Yep.
now they have like swollen joints. Like, oh, his favorite food is Happy Meals.
What?
He just loves them. Just pouring soda through the cages. Just straight up fucking soda. Just feeding
just giving them
chimp
soda. Soda is known to be good for everybody.
For the monkeys. And this is like, dude, the mood, like I said, they're despicable. You're like watching it like, you just, I don't know, you watch Tiger King and you're like, what an idiot. Oh, Carol Baskin is a bitch. And like, this guy's crazy. You watch this and you're like, I hope this woman gets hit by a fucking truck.
No.
Like, this woman is just like awful. She's just despicable. And I wouldn't say that she's inherently evil as much as she is just so relentlessly stupid. Like, she says the wrong word for things all the fucking time. Like, have you ever seen that like Bone Apple Tea subreddit?
Yeah.
Where people say like things like, instead of Bon Appetit, they say Bone Apple Tea, and they think that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's her with, I would honestly say, 25% of her vocabulary. She just says the wrong word for things. It sounds the same. It's like a similar sounding word, but she'll just use the wrong fucking word. And you can tell it's not like a slip of the tongue. She just thinks that's the word.
No.
It's very upsetting because she's, responsible for the lives of these chimps.
That is a pretty significant pet peeve of mine. When
this will drive you nuts. This will drive you fucking up the wall because she does it all the time.
I don't like that. I don't like that. If you wanted to bug me, just say the wrong word or say the right word wrong regularly, and I will correct you. I'm that annoying about it. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, Tiger King was like trash to watch. This is hate watch stuff. This is like a hate watch show.
Hey, sometimes you're in the mood for that though. Sometimes I'm just like, I want to be mad.
If you want to be mad, but not as like intensely mad as a show like Don't Fuck with Cats or something.
Yeah, that was freaking crazy.
Yeah, this is the one.
Chimp
Crazy. Chimp Crazy. You've seen it on HBO and you're wondering, do I really want to watch that? It's just like we're going through Tiger King, but you know what? It's appropriate because we're not in the same place we were in when Tiger King came out. We are in a much darker, more hateful place than we were back then, which is crazy to say.
Tiger King felt like innocent in like 2020 innocent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 2020 innocent, which is insane to say.
Yeah,
because 2012 innocent makes 2020 innocent look like 2016 innocent.
Dude, somehow that made sense.
Chimp Crazy, Paul T. Goldman. Watch this shit. It'll blow your fucking mind. Don't get sick. Watch it without getting sick. Try that.
Watch it without. It doesn't make you sick, JD. This is the phenomenon I was talking about like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You'll feel sick watching this shit.
You're gonna feel sick thinking about it now. That's
Yep.
That's just
anytime I think about, because I'm not done with Chimp Crazy. They're not. Yeah, there's like 3 out right now, and I think there's gonna be like 4 or 5.
Okay.
So I don't know what's gonna happen. It's. You end up rooting for PETA in this, and you're like, I'm rooting for PETA. Those guys fucking suck. But you're rooting for PETA.
Like PETA for once is the good guys. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh, that does sound bad. The only thing I've watched really recently has been the Bachelorette finale, which was a
disaster. Am I right?
Like, in a good way. It ended how I wanted it to end. I'll say that, because the season was pretty ho-hum, and but it ended in such awful disaster, like so uncomfortable.
And all the disaster happened off screen.
We got what we deserved, I guess. That's what we
always do, don't we? We always fucking do.
Yeah.
That's what we deserve. We love The Bachelor. You get what you fucking deserve.
It was not great, but also great at the same time.
It's like
So I don't
we wasted so much time, you guys. We all
just like
collectively
2-hour episodes. Like it's so much time. And to just like
watched so
suck
many
and
shampoo
then
commercials.
like you said, the end was the best part, and we didn't even see any of it. We
Yeah.
just saw them talking about it afterwards. So
It was like reading the Dune book when it's like it builds the whole book to this big epic battle, and then the battle is honestly half a page, and it's like, and then the battle is over. You're like, did part of my book fall out? You're like, no, that's it.
it's a misprint, I think.
No. It's just you just don't get to read about that shit. It happens off screen.
Anyways, watch it. It was awful. And great and terrible.
But now we've eaten our vegetables. Now we get to eat dessert.
Next summer when we see Paradise, it'll be
Bachelor in Paradise, baby.
We got some good ones.
Rundown.
Haven't quite figured out what a rundown is, but I think it's pretty
I'm just gonna
important.
keep doing it. If I get it right, please tell me. That's what I'll say.
Peterson played a game called Core Keeper that I thought was a game called Drill Core, and it made me very sad.
So this is kind of funny because JD messages and he's like, dude, Core Keeper's out. I'm so stoked. And I went and looked and I was like, I think he's thinking this is Drill Core, which was a game we were super stoked. We were stoked about
this is a Steam Fest next game.
And it's still on my list. Like, I'm going to buy this game when it comes out. It's right up the alley of games that JD and I like to play for like 3 weeks. You know what
intersection of our game, it was right smack dab in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what this is.
No, Core Keeper is something very different. And honestly, I look at the screenshots and I'm like, oh, it's Stardew Valley, but it's not Stardew Valley. This is
Pump Brakes.
Yeah.
Did you know that Drill Core has a release date? Did you know that release date is in 3 days?
Oh, I did not.
September 12th.
Oh, nice. I haven't. You know, it's funny when I'm playing when I have games to play, I never check my wish list like for the release dates. When I don't, I like check it every day. I'm like, give me a release date.
2 days, dude.
All right, we'll be playing it next episode.
That's not this game.
No.
This has been a very confusing rundown.
Yes. Okay, so I played.
Let me get some gameplay up of this.
I played Core Keeper. What Core Keeper is, it's got the same graphical style as a Stardew Valley. But this is like if Stardew Valley met Don't Starve and Terraria with a little bit of Factorio mixed in. And it's multiplayer. I've been playing with my gaming group. We've been playing it, and the good news is usually these guys grind the crap out of these type of games to the point where like we start one, and then they have completely like just moved way past me 2 days later.
Right.
So what this game is, and a lot of the inventory stuff is going to that's what reminds me of like Terraria.
Mm-hmm.
So what this is a survival crafting game. You're just a guy and you start off and it's, of course, always like a mystery. There's like these 3 big statues and you're like, what are you supposed to do? So you go and click on one and it's like, fight this boss. And then there's a lot of like stuff to figure out, but there's a lot of exploration. And one thing this game does pretty well is it does not really let you go to the areas you're not ready to go to yet. You can if you want to. You can if you want to. You can like probably find a way because the map is randomly generated. It's a seed.
And can you just cut through walls to go wherever you want?
So you can just get a pickaxe and you can start hacking away at walls. One of the complaints is the game is very dark because you're in a cave. You're like, and I don't know if you're in a cave. Are you in a cave? I don't know.
Looks like a cave.
It looks like it feels like a cave. It's very dark, but you will light it up until eventually it's like very, very light. And so what you're doing is you're going around mining for resources. It's very Minecraft in this regard. You mine for resources, collect resources to build a crafting table, to build better resources, to get better resources until you're finally like getting the OP gear. Now the way it's like Terraria is you're killing these guys and they drop loot. There's all sorts of loot you can find and that they drop. And so you're just finding armor and weapons and pets and offhand items and all these crazy things, all these resources. And you've got, if you can see if you notice, there's a billion chests at your base.
Yeah,
like a billion of them, because there are so many things that you
Does
can
that
pick
not get
up in this
overwhelming?
game.
Because I'm watching this gameplay. If you guys are watching along with us, we're streaming on YouTube. So when we talk about games, we usually stream some gameplay. But what I'm seeing here looks like so many items in the inventory, plus all the chests. Is that not just like overwhelming?
It can be, but it like I said, it is kind of like spoon fed to you slowly, so you start to you grow with it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So like by the time you know exactly what all the stuff is, you've grown with it, and you're like, okay, I know what it is, I know where it is, and all this stuff. And so like it's, if you just jumped in and looked at right now, what you're watching is like late early game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you look at this and you're like, what the crap is
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But this is pretty common, so you pick this up really quickly. What's cool is there's one thing I love, of course, I love exploration in these types of games. I don't like base building, which is why
okay.
I don't like to spend a lot of time base building. And there's a lot of automation you can do. The guys I play with love this stuff. They do that
to do it. Yep.
Yeah, they do that. They're good at it. They love it. And I just run around and find all the crap. And I'm like, okay, guys, next boss is out here. When you're ready, let's go do this next boss and that sort of thing. And so it does kind of work out well for us. What this is, one of the things, the map is gigantic. I am talking I haven't hit the end of it. It's freaking huge. You zoom out so far. But at the beginning, it won't let you can't go all the way out there. You have to beat 3 bosses before you can. There's a crystal wall surrounding you out a certain distance, and you can't get past it until you've beaten the first 3 bosses. Then it disappears. And then you can go out and there's new biomes and new bad guys. There is fishing in the game, and
you're in.
Not surprising. There's a skill tree where you have it's one of those games where as you do stuff, you level up that skill. So you can do anything, right? You can be I'm going to be a mage, but you can level up everything, right? Melee. As you do stuff, you are leveling up that skill. My fishing skill is my highest level skill.
Obviously.
And for a couple reasons. First off, it's got the fishing mechanic that I love, where you're not just going in and catching fish. You're going in and catching, I could pull up a chest and I could pull up rare items and you can pull up other stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's just like playing a slot machine, right? I just love it. And
fishing and gambling, that's the way to hook Peterson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mix them together, and that's what I'm in for. So I can just sit there and fish for a long time, and I do. There's a million crafting recipes.
Yeah, tell me about the crafting. Is it easy? Is it pretty straightforward? Do you have to go have every item in your inventory, or does it collect from all your millions of chests around you?
It's a little bit of both. So there is a type of proximity crafting, but the chest has to be right next to the bench. And so you do kind of rework your base a few times. Because you're this isn't working anymore. Because at first you never know what you're doing, right? And so you can proximity craft if it's in the chest right next to it. And so you do have to usually you just have to have the stuff on you, because like you've seen, you've got so much stuff everywhere. The chests are not big enough to hold everything that you could possibly need for that crafting table. Yeah. And there's a ton of crafting tables.
Dude, see, you're telling me level up with this, but to me this game just feels so bloated. It looks bloated, and you're telling me it's not.
I'm telling you it's not.
Okay.
Well, because one thing is you can build a better crafting table, and that crafting table does everything the old, just the basic crafting table. It does the best stuff and everything the old thing could do. So you can get rid of the old crafting table.
You can clean stuff up.
Yeah.
as you go. Okay.
It's really not that bad. Like I said, you grow with it and you're like, oh, okay. Once you it's very I've never felt confused or lost. The only time I've had to look anything up on the wiki was like when I was figuring out, like, wait, how do I summon this boss? Because there is like a little bit of mystery to it, and you're like, you got to figure
which
out
I like
how you're gonna do this and like what you're supposed to do. Honestly, this game is addicting. We have played so much of it already. I can't stop, and we are barely scratched the surface. You get in there and there's like, okay, there's these 5 titans you have to kill. We've killed 1.
So now, how are you keeping these guys from min-maxing this game instantly, beating it?
Because we don't have a persistent server. We started on mine. I booted it up and I was like, hey, let's play. And so
you are you control
so I
the
own
game?
the server.
Oh,
and so they can only play when I play. And we played one night and they were like, all right, I'm going to set up a dedicated server. And I was like, how about we just play this one at nights? And so we don't finish it tomorrow. Let's just like, and honestly, it's been great because we've been taking it much slower.
The Peterson pace.
Yeah. And like, I mean, we've still got, I mean, there's still like some of the stuff is just super, they love like super grindy. Like you can build so as you're mining resources, you need metal, but there are these there's just like metal around the world, but then there's like these big nodes that you can't mine. You have to build a machine to mine them. So they don't run out, but they're usually far away from your base. So you have to build conveyor belts.
Dude, I dig it.
And I just built a conveyor belt that was probably 1,500 conveyor pieces long to bring it all the way back to our base.
Dude, that's our thing though. Remember when we built that crazy highway and grounded?
It's just like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I looked and I was like, look at my map, and I'd be like, I've got a conveyor belt way over there, but if I can get to that one, it takes it straight down to my base. So I just need to connect to that conveyor belt. And so I just took from where I wanted and I mined and built bridges and did everything. So I did a completely straight line. I didn't turn. I could have like moved like 1 block south and just had an open lane. Nope. Mined a straight
line only
path. I'm like, I am not going to mess around. It's if you love crafting survival types of games, if you like loot games, this game does a great job at scratching all of those itches. And that's why it's been so good at sucking us in. Exploration is always rewarded. There's like a ton of crap. We're still finding stuff. And I'm like, I've never seen this before. You find little temples and mazes. And again, it's all like procedurally generated, like where all the stuff is at. And so like, you just like find it and you're like, this is awesome. And then there'll be like a little village and you're like, oh, here's a little village here. And with bad guys, they're never good guys. And then there's like traders you can find in the world, and then you can lure them to your base, and then you got trader at your base. And this game is very good. It's been making a lot of waves. Like,
how much
people
was
have been
it?
playing it.
I know you probably got on.
I got it on Game Pass.
Oh,
it's on Game Pass.
Through Game Pass.
Yeah, that's why we started playing it. But it is only $20 on Steam.
I think it's pretty cheap.
And it is absolutely worth $20. I mean, let me see if I can see how much time I've put into this game already. It's hard to tell on the Xbox thing, I think. But I have absolutely been loving this game. It is very well made. The balance feels good. Nothing feels impossible, but things still feel very hard. Like I do die.
That's good.
That's
can
die.
Hard balance.
Yeah, like you can die a lot if you're not careful. If you're not paying attention, you'll die. But if you are paying attention, you can stay alive for a long time. And so it's got that balance. But man, what a good just random find. I wasn't watching this game at all. And so that's been kind of the exciting thing when I'm not paying attention to a game. We randomly tried it on one night, and now I have played 37.4 hours of this game.
Good God.
Yeah, with other people, and we still have a ton to do. Like we have not, like I said, there's like 5 titans or something like that. We've beat one of them.
Dude, that
And
is
so
incredible.
this is a good game. Genuinely, this is a good game. If you like Stardew, if you like Terraria, if you like Valheim, I think this will scratch all of those itches that are in that similar vein.
Do you think this would be worthwhile or enjoyable to play by yourself? Or do you have to play with people?
You don't have to play with people. It's more fun with people, I think. The bosses are easier with people, but I've logged in and played a few sessions by myself for a while and like done my own thing. And I know one of the guys that I'm playing with who can't, he wanted to start the dedicated server. He's playing his own world too because he can't not. He can't not.
Yeah, can't not.
And so, but this is a great game. Honestly, play it if you have Game Pass. You've got to download and play this game. It's honestly a gem. I am loving it.
Yeah, and it's cool that you can set up dedicated servers because sometimes games like this they don't really have that type of support. So
yep, no, you can do it on this one.
Very cool.
This game feels very gamer friendly. Like all the things that you're like you want, it's in there.
I love that.
You can set up so many quick keys. You can have the other thing is there's so much armor and weapons. You're like, man, I don't know which build to do. Doesn't matter. You can have 3 builds. It doesn't mess with your inventory space. You can have 3 active builds that you want. 3 different armor sets, 3 different weapon set. Like the game is just like, yeah, you can do that. Like we don't care. You can have 3 builds if you want to have 3 builds. And Minecraft has like stack limits for like the items. So it's like whatever the stack limit is. This does too. 9,999 is the stack limit. And so it's like
that's what I want to see.
Yeah, they don't limit you that much. And so it's very nice to play.
Cool. So that is Core Keeper. It's on everything, isn't it? On like PlayStation? It's everywhere.
Pass. Yeah, I think it's everywhere. I think it's everywhere.
On everything. So check that shit out.
Yep.
Dice of Destiny.
Nope, not doing it this week.
Peterson took me up on my offer and is taking a mulligan on Dice of Destiny this week.
There's 2 reasons why. You want to hear my reasons why? First,
no, let's wrap. No,
first, not a lot of time that I like in the evenings. Of course, you're like not a lot of time. You played 37 hours of Core Keeper. Well, that's
but
why.
That's different.
Yeah, there's a different time when I played these single player types of games as opposed to multiplayer games, and my single player game time has been limited this week. But also, I've just been dragging my feet on going into the Ubisoft.
I had to find out my fucking password.
It will honestly take me 3 minutes, but I'm like,
that's 3 minutes longer than it takes to get into Steam, man.
I know, that's why it's so stupid, but like you can just feel the hassle just a little bit. And this is why I'm like, I never want my game store to change because Steam is so easy and so comfortable. Just like the fact that I have to spend 3 to 5 minutes going in and getting Ubisoft and just getting the game. I'm like, ugh.
This is something I only usually have to do for Far Cry. Now I have to do this or something else. It just doesn't seem right.
My credit card company is going to be weirded out by this
every time.
Like, sure? There's not a Far Cry game out right now. So like what? I don't understand what's happening.
Ubisoft.
This isn't you. We're going to cancel your card.
Is that both reasons? Wait, you said 2 reasons. Did you give me 2 reasons?
Yes. The first one is lack. I just didn't have the time
and lack of
single player time.
Gotcha.
And then didn't want to log in. I'll do it. I did get a message from one of our listeners on Facebook, and he was like, it's been pretty good. Just give it a fair shake. You know, there's a couple bugs and a couple annoying things, but I think you might like it. Just give it some good playing time. And part of me is like, do I wait 1 more week to see if they patch some of that stuff out? But he did say he's enjoying it. So give it a fair shake. So I will do that. I do fully expect that I will enjoy aspects of this game.
It's a solid Ubisoft game. It's just that formula for a lot of people has grown fairly tired.
I'm not going to be obsessed with it. I already know that, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. If that makes sense. And I'm trying to find that listener's name because he's a good messenger. James Acosta.
Maybe next week. Peterson will have a review for us on
Yes.
this gigantic game. All right. That's it. That's it for us for the whole week. We did everything. And to play us out, we have this song called Even Dumber Awful Song from Hell. I know, it's
JD's
just a banger.
obsessed with it. It is
It's just a banger.
It's 1 minute of just, it's good. It's just good. It just
doesn't
gets in your
overstay
head
its
and you're like,
welcome.
there we go.
Yeah.
It's
this is the banger
exactly
you
1
want.
minute.
Yep. You like it. So enjoy this song. Thanks to all of the folks that got on our live stream. Patrick, Abby, Joshua. Love seeing people. We usually stream Sunday nights, 8:30 Eastern, not 8:30 Eastern, 8:30 Mountain Time.
8:30 Eastern.
And we also do that sometimes on Mondays, which is when we're recording now. So just subscribe to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page.
You'll see it when you see it. Okay.
You'll know.
Be on your toes. You know what? Just put on your calendars. Block off Sunday nights.
Join our
block off Monday
Discord and we'll
nights.
tell you every time. You'll love it. Anyway, I'm JD logging off.
And this is Peterson going AFK.
Thanks,
guys.